Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. It's been a while since I've done a video. I wanted to come back and just do kind of a random shooting this shit kind of video talking about a variety of topics. I've been gone a while actually. We've had so much going on. I mean, the door has been pretty much closed to our state. We got in here, if we had waited another 2 weeks, we probably would have missed the boat and probably not been able to buy a house here. Now it's almost impossible to get a home here. So my wife has been trying to get her mother and father. Her parents have been divorced since like the late 80s, but each of them have, a home in Southern California, and they could easily sell it and, buy themselves something fairly nice here, providing they can find something. I mean, there's just been very low inventory. So we've been working around the clock trying to help my mother-in-law find something, and we did. We actually bought a brand new piece of property. They're going to start building a brand new custom home on it. I think they'll be digging the foundation in February. You should have it done next June or July, I believe. Her father might move here, or maybe even sooner. We're not sure. He may just buy an existing property and fix it up, or buy it and make some slight modifications to it. So we'll see. It's just very hard to get a home here right now, and the prices are crazy. Our house has gone up like $80,000 in 5 months. It's crazy. And there's bids for people are asking between $40,000 and $180,000 over the asking price for homes here, because there's a massive exodus in California because it's such a shitty place to live, thanks to the politics and policies of the state. And so everyone and their brother wants to come here now, and other states as well, like Texas and Arizona and Tennessee and other Nevada, different states for different reasons. But this is a really hot place to live, and it's just wonderful people. We feel so privileged to have made the move when we did. If we hadn't planned it, God, a year and a half or so ago, we would have missed the boat. We never would have been able to find something when we did. It was really a miracle with everything that's going on this year. And that was kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about. It hasn't been the greatest year for many of us. It's been a good year for me personally because I had my very effective back surgery, which finally, after 5 years, it's a miracle. I'm going to be able to have my life back. We just took a road trip to a little town called McCall, kind of like a mini Lake Tahoe, last weekend for our 25th anniversary. We're going to go to Maui and redo our vows and film it and have the whole thing. But because they shut Maui down and the Hawaiian Islands, it's just a mess there. We decided not to do that, so we just took a little local trip. And my wife was concerned. She was, well, God, I hope you can even do the drive. And I said, let's, we're kind of know unless I try it. So I did the drive myself, nice 2-hour drive, beautiful time there. We just stayed one night, had a really nice dinner, and walked around the town a little bit and, filmed the lake and really nice, just nice getting out of town. I did the whole drive, like 2.5 hours each way by myself driving. I didn't even need to have my wife, fill in for me driving. It worked out great. Took my Challenger, it's a little bit more comfortable, drove that up there, and had a wonderful time. So, I mean, everything is on track with my back. I've got between 6 and 7 hours in Mad Max right now. I mean, that's a substantial amount of time for me. And one of those sessions was like 3.5 hours, which is quite good. That's unheard of, just completely unheard of, with no, repercussions afterwards. I still have a lot of post-surgery pain, and I'm taking pain medication for that and physical therapy and what have you. But I'm getting through it. They said it's going to be about a 1.5-year process, actually a lot longer than I thought, but going in the right direction. So I'm real happy to discuss that. Just the fact that I can go back to my favorite games again and sink hours into them like I used to so many years ago is just a miracle in and of itself. So, yeah, it hasn't been a great year for many of us. But we've had for us, it's been a good year in spite of the problems with the disease from China there, the virus, or whatever the hell they call it. It's really been kind of a frustrating thing for many of us to try to, work around that. One of my friend's dad just died of it recently, so I feel so bad. He's been so down, and he went to Texas for his dad's funeral, and it's just his dad got it, and just, that was it. He was done. It lasted a few weeks, and it just really got to him. Got to his mother, too. His mother thankfully survived it, but it's tough, We have other family members, I don't want to, go into details, that have also contracted it recently, very surprisingly. So, my wife and I have been very careful not, we rarely go out. When we do, we're very careful wearing masks and try to minimize. We just run all our errands once a week and just try to do everything, do it at a time where it's not too crowded. And we'll go out to a restaurant and occasionally, but even those, we pick out places that aren't too crowded and we go there right when they open, when there's not too many people. And as long as you're kind of careful, you can still enjoy your life, and that's kind of what we're doing. But one of the things I was really tragically bummed out about, I mean, you hear about famous people and celebrities dying, and that's too bad. I like that guy or whatever, and that's kind of the end of it. But sometimes something will hit kind of close to home, and you really feel bad. And it's been several weeks now, but we had the fantastic Eddie Van Halen, died, which I grew up on, cut my teeth on heavy metal, Black Sabbath and Boston and God, Journey, and especially Van Halen. I remember the day that first album came out, we had it on an 8-track. My friend, we went to go see the LA Dodgers play the San Francisco Giants up at the Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And we took a little Winnebago up there, and that album had just come out, like 3 days. It had just come out. We got the 8-track of it. And we listened to it over and over and over on the way up there driving from Fresno. It's like a good 3.5 hour drive up to the Bay Area and back. And we get a flat tire on the way back from the baseball game. But on the way up there, man, we played the hell out of that 8-track. And it was just, you had to really be there. There was nothing you had heard like it at the time. I mean, it was just, of course, they had Randy Rhoads with Ozzy Osbourne, which was it was another tragic loss that I remember quite well. But the Eddie Van Halen one really hit home for me. I really like the guy, and he's had his demons and his problems, and he wasn't always the nicest person to those closest to him, and had his problems with alcohol and drugs, like many of us have, myself included. But, he persevered and, saw his son doing well, and his son really helped him try to stay sober. And back in 2015, he did some, more concerts, and really, it's just nice to see him clean his act up and really come back around. And then he wrestled with cancer. He was a heavy, heavy cigarette smoker, and I'm sure that, took its toll on the poor guy. So because of that, I've got all my Van Halen stuff out. I got it's unfortunately the only DVD I have, although I have watched quite a few concerts on YouTube already. But I've got all the CDs here, that I've been listening to over the years. God, this is the very first one. I had to dig these. There's dust on them. I got to clean them up. There's the second one. I've got Women and Children First. Some of these have been kind of remastered digitally, and some of them aren't. Fair Warning has always been my favorite for real diehard Van Halen fans. This is kind of one where Eddie kind of took control and did what he wanted to do, and it shows. He really has some good monster sounds on this album. This is one of my absolute favorites. I've been listening to the hell out of this driving around running errands lately. And I've got 1984, Diver Down, and then the 5150, and I kind of stopped after that. I like Sammy Hagar, and I've seen him twice. And he lived in a little place called Granite Bay, kind of a high-end part of the Sacramento area. And twice I saw him in his really killer red Chevy Blazer lowered, and driving around town. Drove right next to him with my truck. It was such a rush seeing him. He had Red Rocker for his personalized plate, on his deal. So, and I like Sammy Hagar, and I've got a bunch of his CDs as well. Then I got this Best of Both Worlds special. It's a 2-disc CD, all remastered. This is great. I just installed this in my hard drive in my car, but it was just such a tragic loss. I dug these out and blew the dust off them and ripped a bunch of them into my 360 hard drive, and I ripped most of them into my hard drive in my Challenger so I could listen to them over and over. And just an awful, tragic loss. It's been a tough year. And then we just a week or so ago, we lost the wonderful Sean Connery, the actor who actually made it to 90 years old and had a home in the Bahamas, where he had filmed a couple of Dr. No, and then he did this Never Say Never Again film, which he filmed part of it there in the Bahamas. And he always loved it and wanted to return there. And so he died there. And I think they took his ashes and spread them out over. He was cremated, and they had his ashes spread over Scotland, I believe. But right, what's funny is literally 3 days before he died, my friend Cameron of Industrial Gamer got me this 50 Years of Bond Blu-ray box set. I just cherish this. This has got all the wonderful, 50 Years of Bond from Dr. Noah, Russia with Love. They're just beautifully done. And there's 2 discs in really nice sleeves that sit inside each one. But the only one that was missing out of the whole set was one because of legal matters with MGM or with the family that owns the rights that wrote their Bercalis, whatever their name is, or their family that owns all of the 007 films. There was one of them that was made kind of outside of the realm of that with Sean Connery's help, and that was Never Say Never Again, which I saw Octopussy 2 or 3 times a year it came out, but the same year, 1983, my dad and I went to go see this. My dad was a huge Bond fan, so I saw every single Bond film. And, well, this has been out of print now for a couple of years. I didn't know that. And I was going to buy this a couple of years ago when I got my box set, and I've been meaning to. And the other day, I've been slowly going through them, and I'm up to where I'm real close to where this would have been if it was in the set, right before Octopussy. And I said, God, I should get this so that way, because I'm trying to watch them in order. That way I can see them in chronological order. This is a remake of the Thunderball one, which Sean Connery also acted in. And I love this one. It's filmed in Nice, France. Beautiful scenes. There's wonderful scenes where they show, because it was the height of the video game craze in 82 and 83, there's a wonderful, huge, an event where they're raising money for children's hospitals or something. And there's this giant room filled with Atari arcade machines. And there's Centipede and, every Atari game, there's Dig Dug. I mean, every game known to man in there, and it's great. And you can see Sean Connery going through and Kim Basinger, and they're playing video games. And then they sit down with his arch enemy, and he has this custom-made video game, kind of a world domination thing they play. Because, Bond always kind of mimics whatever's going on in society. So when video games were really hot and heavy in the 82, 83, they filmed that, and it was in this. So it's kind of a special game for me for that reason. There was a good car chase done in this, and I had the bad guys had a couple of cool cars, and one of them was a black 74 Camaro, and I had a black 74 Camaro, just like the one that was in the stunts in the movie. So I just watched this the other night, and then all of a sudden I heard he passed away. Well, now this being out of print is worth $200 to $300. I've already seen this for over $200 on eBay, and some people are charging even over $300 for it. So I got it. It said it was used, and I got a good deal on it because it was supposedly used, and I still paid a lot more for it than I wanted. But I had to have it. This is one of my favorite movies. I saw this 4 times at the theater, once with my dad and then by myself and with my friends. I saw each Saturday I'd go back and see a matinee of it. And this was the last movie. Sean Connery was 52 years old when he did this. And so it was really kind of a special film for me. To me, the best James Bond is Sean Connery. I mean, bar none. And then, of course, I grew up watching all the Roger Moore ones. I saw every Roger Moore one at the theater. So Roger Moore is kind of, like a second, kind of a close second. George Lazenby is actually my second favorite, even more so than Roger Moore, but he was only in the one 1969 film. Believe it or not, I don't like Craig that much. He's my least favorite. And Brosnan also, even though he's real popular in all the video games, I just never liked Brosnan. To me, Timothy Dalton, I thought was a better James Bond. He was a little bit more, had more humility, I thought. Brosnan was just a little bit too arrogant and cocky for my taste. But Roger Moore was just the quintessential, like a man's man, and really a great actor. So I was so thrilled to get this, and literally days before he died. Now I wouldn't be able to afford this now. So it's a miracle. And I actually took the Blu-ray and put it inside where the extra slot for the extras was, and put it inside here. So that way they're all in the set. So anyway, so I picked that up, a little pickup. I got a couple gifts. A friend of mine did a pickups video, and he had the Monopoly game. I go, oh, that's one of the games I'm looking for. Oh, shit, dude, I'll send it to you. I don't even care about that. So he sent me the Monopoly game for the Xbox 360, which is, it's in mint shape and great condition with a manual. I mean, just follows shape. And I've also got the recent for the Xbox One X that I have. I've got a digital version of it, a newer version of it as well. I'm a huge Monopoly fan. I even have a book on strategies for playing Monopoly like in a world championship status. I'm very good at it. There's a lot of luck to it, but there's also a lot of strategies and how you play and how you can trade properties and what have you. So thank you very much for this. This is my good friend Phil in Phoenix, or in Scottsdale, Arizona, sent this to me. Thank you so much, Phil. I really appreciate this. In fact, I've got a game for him. I've got a Twisted Metal reboot for the PlayStation 3. I've got 2 copies of it, and I heard that he was looking for it. Oh, dude, I got one of those. I'm going to send him that. We've sent each other games back and forth. You know, we'll see here. Oh, you got that game? Shit, I'll take that from you. And then he goes, oh, you got that? I'll take it. So we're sending each other games. And then the wonderful Tylord Stevenson has a great channel. I'll have a link to both of these channels, to Phil's channel and Steven's channel down below. And he knows I'm a huge Bond fan. In fact, we were discussing at length. I mean, for evening after evening, sharing our favorite James Bond, Sean Connery things. And he sent me the 007 Nightfire guide. He had an extra guide, a flawless guide. And he really sent it in a really nice box, packaging, and bubble wrapped it, and went overboard. You know, thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate this. Again, Tylord Stevenson, he does a lot of great pickups videos, and he likes to play a lot of older games. He's the one I gave my analog TV to a while back. But I love this. Now I just got to get the Agent Under Fire, and I'll be all set. But I'm slowly trying to get all of the James Bond guidebooks, which he actually has. He's got a collection of all of them. He's very fortunate in that respect. But I also had some other, you know, I looked through, and I was surprised to see I had other Sean Connery movies. These I already had. They're not pickups, but I had this is a great movie called Outland with Sean Connery, one of the best sci-fis by Peter Hyams, who also did Capricorn 1. He's done a lot of other fantastic movies and a lot of sci-fi films over the years. But this, he was 50 when he did this, 2 years before he came out in this. But Outland is almost like a Western in space, and outstanding, really good. Even the science fiction special effects hold up well today. I'd highly recommend this. Of course, I've got The Hunt for Red October on Blu-ray as well. This is fantastic. I saw this at the theater like 4 or 5 times. It was so good. So I've got to watch this. I've been watching Outland. I'm halfway through this, and I'm going to watch this next. Then, of course, I've got all of the Indiana Jones, movies on DVD with, The Last Crusade, which had Sean Connery in it. Yeah, he was in The Untouchables as well. Did a great job. I forgot that he was even in that. Another really strange movie with Martin Landau, Trevor Howard, Richard Dysart, Henry Fonda as the president, and Sean Connery in a movie called Meteor. Really another unusual science fiction movie. I saw all of these at the theater when they came out. These are kind of hard to find, some of these on DVD today, but highly recommended. Zardoz are really kind of a strange, way out there, kind of twisted, indicative of a lot of really way out, early 70s sci-fi films. This is really bizarre. Charlotte Rampling's in it. She's a great actress. John Borman film. He's done some really good movies. Great film. And then the Alfred Hitchcock movie Marnie. It's a really kind of an early James Bond. Played a really classy kind of a Philadelphia playboy, if I remember right. And he tries to help this poor woman that's got some deep psychological issues. But anyway, so those are my kind of Sean Connery thing. And I've got a bunch of other Anderson tapes, and I've got other ones on VHS. I've got quite a few other Sean Connery ones on VHS, but they're buried in boxes. But so, between Eddie Van Halen and Sean Connery both, really a tragic loss this year to see both of them go. One of my favorite actors, and certainly one of my favorite musicians of all time, which I really feel bad about. I picked up a few other things. My controller that I got from my original PlayStation 4 Pro had been having some sticky buttons, like my option button was sticking, so I went out and bought a used one of these Arctic Camo PlayStation 4 DualShock controllers in mint condition. Got a really good deal on this used at GameStop, and all the buttons work good, and the option button doesn't stick on this like it does on my other one. So thank God I also got one of the original steel gray ones, gunmetal ones from Japan before. Now you can get them in the States, but which I still have and use as well. But I love the DualShock controllers. I'm dying to try that new PlayStation 5 one. It looks quite good. What else did I get? Oh yeah, and I got, of course, I think I'd mentioned this. I got the Mafia game, which I showed in one of my last videos, in my game room tour video. I showed this. This I've been playing through. I've got a couple missions, not very far into it, but it's such a great game. And I feel bad. I'm going back to play a game. I've got 270 hours already, an hour, 277 hours, and it is Mad Max. But I've been just dying to play because I got the PlayStation, the Xbox One X. I've been dying for a reason to play that. So yeah, when Steve sent me this, I'm like, this kept calling my name, and so I'm torn between the two of these right now. So like a kid in a candy store, and then of course I went out and got Squadrons the day it came out. I've got so many friends that have played this. Oh God, Dean, you got to play this. This is one of the best Star Wars experiences ever, and I know I'm going to want to get a PlayStation VR, after seeing this and playing this, and even just in the regular 2D version. I'm sure the 3D version would be quite cool, but I'm looking very, very forward to playing this. So I'm buried with stuff going on. Like I said, we just helped my mother get a place. We're trying to help my father-in-law get a place now. My next door neighbor demoed his entire all the cement in his backyard. He's been out there with a jackhammer. So every time I sit down to film, I have a video I've already started, which is my top 20 7th gen car racing video games of all time. My favorite, top, counted down from 20 down to my favorite number 1. And I've already started the video, and then every time I try to film parts of it, my neighbor starts jackhammering or grinding concrete out there or something. So I said, fuck it, and just kind of put it on hold for a while. But and then I discovered that the new Terminator Resistance, which I want to get back to this too. I'm excited now that I can actually sit and play a video game again. I'm dying to get back to this. I'm so torn with so much choice, so many choices of games to play. Well, they have a new, the Tion dev that made this has some new DLC, and it's called the Infiltrator DLC, where you play as the Infiltrator, like a Terminator. It looks like Arnie. You can see half the skin's ripped off his face. He's got the big heavy machine gun, the leather coat and everything, and his leather's all chewed up, and you play as an Infiltrator. I believe it's only available right now on Steam, but they say it's going to be ported soon to consoles. So I'm going to be keeping an eye peeled for that. First, I got to get through the main game, then I want to play the DLC, which I'm really excited about playing. So, it's great having so much choice right now. And if that's not enough, I went out and I got the new Need for Speed remastered for these Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Now, this I pre-ordered this back in 2010. The first time I tried this, I didn't like it. I played the first race, and I was already used to a different handling model, and the handling was a little bit more arcadey and drifty, which you get used to, but the first race is like really easy to beat, and it didn't seem very challenging, and I had to drive a Porsche, which it's not one of my favorite cars, and so I didn't really like the game at first, and then I started seeing the reviews come in the next couple of days after I got it. And I said to God, well, maybe I should give it a chance. So once I got farther into it, started unlocking the muscle cars, the Camaros and the Challengers and Mustangs and the cars that I like, and some of the exotics, then it got a lot more fun and challenging. And there's mountain sections and desert sections. I bought all the DLC. There's all the Lamborghini DLC, all the Porsche DLC, which adds tons of extra races, missions, whatever you want to call them, as well as, you got the Lamborghini Countach and the Gallardo and a lot of other famous Lamborghini cars, and the Murcielago and other great cars in there that comes in the Lamborghini pack. I bought the Porsche pack, even though I'm not a big Porsche person, just to have it, but I bought all the DLC for this. So I already had all the DLC anyway, and I played this extensively. This is a game I've played, backwards and forwards so many times. And so I was thrilled to find out that they were going to make a remake of it. Now, the people that did it, made the remaster for Burnout Paradise, which then both of these on the PlayStation 4 Pro as well as the Xbox One X, you can play at 60 frames a second, which you could not play. This is 30 frames a second. Now I can play this, and I have played it. I put it on the performance mode at 60 frames a second, 1080p, or you can play it at 30 frames a second at 4K. And either way, it looks fantastic. Now there's been like one comparison video that one guy, Nick930, made a really shitty video, and he takes one isolated piece of the road. Oh, the road looks worse in this remaster than the other one. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He takes it completely out of context. I have multiple videos. I'll share a link for a video below of someone else that did a comparison video showing a true comparison of how the original looks versus the new one, and there's much more detail. The cars, the metallics look much more realistic. The reflections looking through the glass look more realistic. There's much more detail in the environment, trees where there weren't trees before. There's more detail in the buildings and the houses on the cliffs. Much more foliage, much more particle effects. Fantastic lighting, light blooming, where there's like slight halos of like a rainbow around the headlights as you're coming into view, and certain types of lighting. There's really overhauled quite nicely with a tremendous amount of detail in the environments, and especially the cars. The cars, you can now have not just the factory colors, but it has a big color wheel thing where you can pick any custom color you want. So there's virtually thousands of possible combinations in metallics and sheens, and it has a new additional photo mode, which is kind of like the one in Need for Speed Payback. So you can freeze the game as you're racing. You can choose to leave the damage on the car or to remove all the damage. You can zoom in, you can pan the camera back, angle it down, tilt it, do whatever you want, play with the depth of field. It's fantastic. A lot of new additions, a new garage, a whole new background. What the garage is now looks much more detailed, much more detail in the cars, much better detail with the environments and the roadways, and the damage modeling is far superior, and then remastered. It looks fantastic. So be careful who you listen to, because either there's people that actually have experience, that know what they're talking about, that have played it since 2010 and know every inch of this game backwards and forwards, and there's those that have never played it, that posture as if they actually know what they're talking about when they don't. But this remaster is fantastic. Very, very good. And I would highly recommend, they also, same people, I think it's called Stellar Entertainment, they did this Burnout Paradise. Also at 60 frames a second, 1080p. This is a flawless remaster. These people are one of the better remastered companies. They know how to take a game. Now again, it's not like a remake where it's like Mafia, where they've redone all the graphics that look much better. It basically is they've cleaned up the game and enhanced it, much sharper graphics, better coloration of things, and more detail in the foliage and the buildings and stuff like that, and little roadway things in the environments. Just a tremendous amount of detail. And again, I'll have a comparison video where you can really see the real difference between the original version and the new one. And it's the same thing with Burnout Paradise. They really did this justice. Both of these games have all the DLC. This is a really good deal. And they're all 40 bucks each. So I like this new trend. Instead of paying $60 for every game, we're getting a lot of games now for, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, a lot cheaper, which is nice. Budget games, you save a little bit of money. So I'm going to have to pick and choose. I've had a lot of expenses lately come out with my medical expenses, and I just had another $2,400 in additional dental expenses. I had a bunch of work done on one side of my mouth before we moved here, before the whole COVID thing. And then because of COVID, I had to hold off on it. So I've been waiting to do that, and finally we have my wife found a new dentist. She goes, "Oh, you need to really go back in and do the other side of your mouth." So I went and did that. It was a lot of money and a lot of pain. I have one more day. I got to go back Thursday this week and have just a couple more crowns done, and that's it. But I'm just so thankful to finally get that over with. It's been a very painful year. Been through a lot of pain, but anyway, both of these are great games. It's wonderful to see them remaster the games right. Both of these games, by the way, are also in my top 20 7th gen racing games of all time. So it was so cool to see, and to play them with a new modern controller with trophy and achievement support is a wonderful thing. And if you're fortunate enough to have the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One X, you can play them with a performance mode, which is amazing. They look even better. It's a beautiful thing. So I just went out just now. I just got back, and I picked up the new 13 remastered. I have the original, for the original Xbox. This is a milestone game. It's a cel-shaded kind of a comic book game. Outstanding story, a really good novel. Adam West, who did the original Batman voice, he does the voice of it. And I think that David, I believe Duchovny does the X-Files, did the voice of one of the characters in this as well. But this is more of more like the Mafia. It's more of a remake. It's not really a remaster. You can see they radically overhauled and redid the artwork all the way through, but it's in the same spirit, the same kind of cel-shaded look, but just much, much better. So I'm really anxious to play this. This is about $10 more. This is $49.99. Not still, you know, $50. Better $50 than $60. But and I had some extra games and extra copies of things I traded in. So I actually get a lot of these games recently pretty cheap because I traded some stuff in. But really excited. I'm dying to install this and play this tonight. This looks so good. I love the original quite a bit on the original Xbox. This was a great milestone game. So fun. Very challenging at parts. You'll pull your hair out in some parts of it. I think there might be a strategy guide. I should get the guide for this because it would pay off. I mean, I can certainly go online and look, but there's a few things that if you don't know what you're doing, you can spend a lot of time learning the hard way. But anyway, so I'm anxious to try this out. So that's a little, just thought I'd just share with you a few pickups and a few things that have just what I've been doing lately and what's going on. Again, I've got this top 20 7th-gen racing video game of all time I'm doing. I had a beautiful Halloween special with my favorite Halloween movies, and I was going to go over my favorite Halloween games and horror games. And it's not one of my favorite genres in gaming, but I do have a very specific array of games that I like within that genre, and I was anxious to share them. And my wife's birthday's on Halloween, so this year we went all out and decorated the whole house, and we had a lot of fun with it. I was going to share that in a video, but thanks to my next door neighbor, it wasn't to be. But that's okay. Shit happens. Can't have everything the way you want it. In life you got to learn to compromise sometimes, and live and let live. And it is what it is. So you just find a good time. Like now's a good time to make a video. It's nice and sunny here. I said, I'll sit down and make a video. So I've got some other videos planned. I want to go over my original Xbox collection. I definitely want to do that soon. I also have a special video I want to do about my secrets and as well as pet peeves on collecting. What I believe and what works to be a game collector today. What has helped me over the years. A lot of good tips and and then as well as things that I don't like to see in the community in the way of collecting or putting down others that collect games and what have you. And so I have some interesting things to say about that. I've got a few vlogs and topics I'll be sharing soon. So anyway, I hope you like this, guys. Just something I wanted to get out to get a video out to you guys and let you know I'm still around and looking forward to. I'm just so happy to get back into gaming. I can't tell you how excited it is to play these games and to relive old games via new ones, remasters. I want to do a whole thing on remasters too, since I have a lot of them. I'm one of the few people who actually likes and appreciates remasters, and I have a good. I want to have a vlog defending remasters because I have quite a bit to say about them. They aren't all good. There's some bad ones, and I'll point those out. But many of them are quite good, and you can appreciate the finer aspects of being able to play them on a newer gen system or whatever. But I'll be talking about all that stuff soon and plenty of other things pretty soon here. Put down in the comments what you've been up to lately, what you've been playing, what you're looking forward to playing. This has been a tough time of year for many of us. Not all of us are going to have the money for PlayStation 5s or the new Series X or what have you, and that's fine. I mean, if I have to wait a year or so, I'll get them eventually. In fact, I'll probably get both of them, and I am anxious to play them, but I got to see some games first. I can't, Demon Souls just ain't going to do it for me, so I want to wait a year or so and see what comes out. By then, I'll have the bread, and I'll be working again. Thank God. I can't wait to get back to work. I'm climbing the walls here, so. My wife has been working at home too, so I got to be, quiet around her. It's kind of hard to film sometimes when she's here. Sometimes she's gone and I can film. Sometimes she's not. I got to kind of keep my voice down. So, but right now she's gone, so I thought it'd be a good time to make this video. So thank you so much for watching. Put down in the comments what you've been playing, what you're looking forward to this year, and even next year, going into next year. I really would love to hear it and love to interact with you in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy your games and collections.